It's recently been revealed that Barcelona made losses of about €500 million in the 2020-21 campaign. The Spanish giants are no longer the force that they used to be, but if we look at it deeply and try to analyse the situation from a different angle, it was a long time coming. So, today we have a very special episode coming up which will focus completely on how Barcelona are where they are now and how much net debt they currently have. Not only that, we'll have a small discussion on the ownership structure at Spanish clubs that is also to blame for the club's many existing issues. But before we do that, make sure to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon in order to stay informed on all things football. And that brings us to the sponsor of this video. Unless you want to miss out on your favourite team's games, you're going to need a VPN that can get you past all those annoying streaming geo restrictions. Can't access your favourite league? A VPN will allow you to stream content like football games or even Netflix shows that are not available in your country. Our favourite VPN provider is Private Internet Access. It changes your IP address and reroutes your internet traffic through an encrypted tunnel, hiding your online activity from your internet service provider and government censors. It's our favourite tool to stream football matches for free. It works with all major streaming services, so you have unrestricted access to all your favourite content anywhere in the world, and is available for all operating systems. Signing up is risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Sign up right now to get 83% off, plus 2 free extra months. Go to www.privateinternetaccess.com/goalside to get it now, or simply press the link in the description. What is the purpose of football club ownership? In every business, one of the most overlooked factors in success is how a company is owned. Any firm's ownership model dictates its modus operandi, tells us what it's good at, and also brings to light its various shortcomings and vulnerabilities to various internal and external factors. Broadly speaking, the purpose of a football club ownership is to facilitate more wins for the team, both on and off the field. Regardless of which model we're talking about, football owners are seen as the stewards of a club's legacy, expected to protect its interests. Currently, there are 2 distinct types of football ownership structures. 1. Clubs owned by fans, and 2. Clubs owned by investors. Barcelona, fortunately or unfortunately, fall under the former category. This is a model that's still existent in Spain, and we're yet to see if it will be changing anytime soon. The main benefit of this model is that the supporters, for the most part, are key investors in the company and will always be loyal to the club. This community-owned model ensures that fans are the ones making off-the-pitch decisions. This model also allows a club to maintain its values and identity, and the stadium is seen as the epicenter of cultural expression and regional pride. However, the problem with such a system is that it inadvertently creates a strategy that is short-term and an environment that tends to become highly political. Knowing that their future term in the office depends on the results, the senior management is always looking to go for quick-fire solutions. A club's board would know that if they're unable to run the club properly, they might not get a second bite 4 years down the road, due to constant pressure from fans, and a seemingly unrelenting spectre of not being re-elected forces the incumbent into making hasty decisions. Players are bought for stupendous amounts of money and thrown onto the field. A new man comes in and he does the same thing, gives the fans what they want. A team capable of signing the most expensive players and then expecting to continue to be a global brand, both on and off the field. Eventually, there will be that one straw that's destined to break the camel's back. And this is exactly what has happened at Camp Nou, with the Catalonian giants being asked to repay €420 million in debt this year in order to avoid insolvency. The current debt is distributed between €480 million in the long term and €420 million in the short term. The club's total debt stands at around €900 million. Given the fact that they have such a huge debt, Barcelona had only 2 options left on the table. Either go for austerity measures or go insolvent. The latter solution was never on the cards, so taking austerity measures was the only bitter pill that the club could swallow. Election campaigns are long-drawn battles where the presidential hopefuls seek to overpromise and, once they assume their role, manage to underdeliver. For them, getting elected becomes the main priority, and every action they take, whether conscious or subconscious, is born out of this necessity. Eventually, in their struggle to appease the club's fans for their own political advantages, the club's situation spiraled out of control. As a consequence, the president loses the trust of the fans, which leads to him being backed into a corner where he either leaves of his own volition or clears his desk following a vote of no confidence. Back in 2020, Josep Maria Bartomeu went through the same issues. The now disgraced Barca president oversaw a disastrous transfer policy between 2014 and 2020. During his forgettable regime, he fired 5 sporting directors. In total, Barca bought 34 players for €1.08 billion during his 6 years at the club, while 43 players were sold for €724.05 million. A lot of money was spent on the likes of Philippe Coutinho, Ousmane Dembele and Antoine Griezmann. The latter has now left for Atletico Madrid after a forgettable 2-year spell, while Coutinho has already spent enough time on loan. However, the talented forward might come good. Most won't like to hear it, but Bartomeu made some really mind-boggling decisions in the transfer market. A lot of money was spent on players like Miralem Pjanic, Paulinho, Malcolm, Arda Turan and so many others. At the end of the day, a fan ownership model in letter and spirit will always treat the club as a sacred institution whose values are translated on the field week in, week out. Fans, regardless of their right to vote, can never be decision makers, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a lot of fans who will understand the importance of long-term thinking, which is so essential to make the club a sustainable business proposition. While Messi has left the club for Paris Saint-Germain, it would have been so much wiser for the club to have allowed him to leave last summer when he requested a transfer in the first place. The Argentine legend was eager to seek a new challenge, but Barcelona thought a club would willingly pay over the odds for a player in what was a very testing financial climate. The Argentine's salary, despite his legendary status at the club, is a part of the club's current debt conundrum, and you have to wonder if at some point Bartomeu did consider allowing him to leave. However, he did not want to be remembered as the man who allowed Messi to leave for free, and being more concerned about his term, an ill-fated one nonetheless, decided to force the player into staying on in a bid to score some points in the eyes of the club's ever-so-demanding fanbase. This way, it becomes quite evident that a structure that is run by a democratic base might not be a solution towards making the Spanish giants a financially profitable business. When you sell a player for €220 million, you know that you've got a fair bit of money to spend wisely in the transfer market. In 2017, when Neymar was sold to PSG for that amount, Bartomeu had a lot of cash to appease the club's fans. In the same transfer window, the club was offered the services of Kylian Mbappe, who was 18 at that time and did not have such a huge transfer value. The club rejected the player. Erling Haaland was also presented, and the Norwegian was deemed unfit for Barca's footballing philosophy. Both players are now 2 of the most coveted youngsters in football right now. Instead, the Blaugrana decided to sign Ousmane Dembele, who was initially believed to be available for €80 million. However, Borussia Dortmund decided to double his price tag, and rather than walk away from the deal, Bartomeu committed to paying €105 million up front and the remaining €42 million in performance-related bonuses that were reported to be way too easy to obtain. But that was not it. The club decided 6 months later that they needed to sign Coutinho from Liverpool. The Reds were paid €160 million for the Brazilian, and the talented forward has never managed to realise his full potential at Camp Nou. In the midst of all these stupid decisions, Bartomeu managed to sign 17-year-old Pedri from Las Palmas. He's probably the only good signing the club had made. Apart from them, most of the arrivals have been utterly disappointing. So today, Barcelona are paying the price of some truly foolish transfer market decisions. Bartomeu decided to appease fans in order to stay president for a number of years. The ownership structure was such that he was backed into a corner where he needed to give immediate results. And unfortunately, it did not work out on the field or off the field. So that's how Barcelona ended up adding a lot of zeros to their net debt. The club isn't out of the woods yet, and it will take more than just one term for Joan Laporta to control the damage done by Bartomeu.